Hello, hey, welcome back to another episode of Akinshola Said It RC. Okay, so today I'm going to maybe let's do something funny. Okay, let's talk about something interesting. Not so much of administrative stuffs, but honestly, we're still going to learn from this because there is no topic we bring up that we cannot learn from. Yeah, so it's something that happened. Was it last week in Nigeria about a man that was obstructing a plane to fly, and like we know, he's a popular person, a respectable person in the society, so to say. But that incident happened, and there has been a lot of talk about it, different opinions, and of course, judgment has been passed and all that. So for me, I like to see things, from different perspectives and learn from it. I'm able to talk about this because I've worked, in the with airline industries for some years, so I have experience about it. So I know what should have happened and what has gone wrong. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about. But listen, the first thing I want to say is that Kwam Wan, as he's popularly known, is not the only ignorant person on earth. Okay, so anyone can be ignorant of certain things. I'm very ignorant about a lot of things in life. Okay, and that's why we need one another to learn. Now, it will be a very big problem for him if he doesn't learn from this, or he feels that he has nothing to learn, because absolutely he was ignorant. But listen to me, it was not just Kwam Wan that was ignorant. I mean, that video, that episode, let's call it episode, because Nigeria is more or less like a drama, no? Everything that happens in that country is so funny. That episode that happened last week in Nigeria actually shows a lot of illiteracy and ignorance, in Nigeria. A lot of it, okay? And it's so disheartening because the level, at which people are ignorant, it's unbelievable. And it's saddening because people that are supposed to be learning, that are supposed to be informed, are the ones that are ignorant. Now, Kwam Wan was like, he's just a passenger. Okay, so we can assume that he's ignorant of a lot of things. Okay, security wise, and also the procedures and all that. He might be ignorant of a lot of things, but there are so many other people that surrounded him that were supposed to actually do their duty that were more ignorant than he was. Okay, and that's actually what made everything to become a mess, because on a good day, let's assume that it's in a proper society and everyone actually stayed at his or her duty post and is well educated and acted according to procedure, what happened shouldn't and wouldn't have happened at all. At all. So that's why I said Kwam Wan was ignorant, but there were more ignorant people than him in that episode. So let's analyze it so that we can learn. And another reason why I said we should learn from this is because I flew some weeks ago with a friend. This friend is from, well, let me say, from Senegal. And honestly speaking, this person has not flown for so many times. So there were so many things that my friend didn't know that I had to be telling him. Okay, now you can't take this. You have to drop this. Okay, you need your passport at this point. You don't need your passport at this point. You just need your boarding pass. So it's not like out of place for passengers not to know procedures or rules when it comes to flying. I need to tell you that. So I'm not justifying what has happened, but I'm just saying that everyone should be open to learn and be educated. Education has nothing to do with going to school. It's about being open to knowledge, and also to unlearn what you have learned before and learn new things. Okay, that's simply what education is. All right, so that's why it's important that we all learn from whatever has happened. So it's not because Kwam Wan is in Nigeria, he travels a lot. I know he's been to Spain, he's been to Germany, he's been to a lot of countries, he's been all over the world. So, he travels a lot. So he's educated in that sense. I don't know what happened, what came over him that day, but what he did was out of place. Now, let's take the whole process and let me talk about all these parties that played, in this episode. Now, the first thing is, at the airport, we have three different areas, right? So we have the public area where is open to everybody. That's from outside the airport into the airport, to the check-in area, to the waiting area, to the lounge, to the stores, to even the arrivals. anyone can go there. It's open. In Nigeria, they don't allow you to enter, which is wrong anyway, but that's their problem. But these are like public areas open to everybody on at any airport. Okay. Then the second area is after you have, you've taken your boarding pass, you've checked in your luggage. That's the first security. They check in your luggage. That's the luggage that goes, under the plane. Okay, not the one that you take, not your carry-on. Okay, so after you've checked in your luggage, you take your boarding pass, then you pass through what we call the security control. Now that is the point where only those that are going to fly and the officials can go through. Now, I don't know, in Nigeria, it's quite different because you see any kind of person going through these zones, right? But outside Nigeria, here in Europe, for example, I mean, I've flown in Europe around here, different countries in Europe, and some countries in Africa too. So I know that in normal international or standard airports, let's use the word standard airports, these rules apply the same. Once you go through that point, that security point, then you enter a zone in the airport that is called the secured area. Now, no one can go through secured area except you are authorized. Now, what authorizes you as a passenger is your boarding pass and the security check you have gone through. Now, there is what we call the AAA procedure when it comes to checking. I mean, you can go and Google that. I'm not going to tell you what that means, but you have to, every airline has to go through that. The AAA procedure. That's what allows a passenger to be able to go through with certain items or not go through with certain items. Okay. Now, there are international laws that guide all these procedures, but we also have local laws. Okay, that's in Nigeria's situation. Now we have the Nigerian Airport Authority (NAA), so they also have their rules to make that rule more stricter. And then we have the laws by the airlines themselves that makes it even way more stricter. Okay, so the international law is strict, then you have the local authorities to make the laws stricter, and then you now have the airlines themselves to make it even more strict. Now, for example, let me give you a practical example. There are some airports that they would allow you to carry certain equipment, and there are some airports that will not allow you. Whereas the international law says that if such equipment go through proper security check, they can actually be allowed. Okay. Now, there are some airports that will not allow you, that's local authority now, to carry weapons at all. But of course, there are some that will allow you to carry your weapons if they are checked and they check the license and all that. But a lot of airports don't want to go through that stress. Like in Spain here, you cannot carry weapons, no matter what. You cannot carry weapons. If you are not in the military, you will not be allowed, even if you have the license. You cannot carry weapons. All right. So if that law is not strict enough, then the airline can actually go and say, no, we don't allow it. For example, there are certain airlines that do not allow you to carry animals on board. Whereas the international law doesn't stop you from carrying animals. The local authority doesn't stop you from carrying animals. But the airline can tell you, we don't allow animals on board, and you cannot do anything about that. So that's one thing you need to understand. But when you pass through the security control, so that's the laws that apply there are the international laws and the local laws, okay, of the country. Okay, now when you have gone through, then you are in the secured zone. In the secured zone is where we have like the duty free and some stores where you can eat, you can buy some things. Okay, now the last check of security is the boarding gate. Now listen to me. At the boarding gate, the rule that applies is the rule of the airline. Now, if the airline tells you, in this case, now let's come down to what happened with Kwam1. Now, he had a bottle with liquid in it. On a good day, if everyone was at their duty post, that liquid was not even supposed to pass the first security check. It's impossible because that bottle was quite big. So it was more than 100 ml, which the international law says that any liquid, even water, is not allowed to go through. So I'm certain that whoever allowed him to go through either must have taken some bribe or must have been taking selfie with him. That's how stupid people can be, okay, at their duty post. I mean, there was a day I was checking in and I saw the granddaughter of the great Fela Kuti I was like, I saw the name. I was like, Kuti, are you from the Kuti family? She said yes. Oh, that Sheung, no, not Sheung, the father of Sheung, no, the brother. Sorry, the Femi is his grand uncle. I mean, I was like, whoa, I know him. He came here, and I was so happy. I announced to all my friends like, this is the grandchild of a great musician from Nigeria. Blah blah blah. I did not ask her for a selfie. I wouldn't do that. And of course, I asked her if she was carrying dangerous goods. If she was carrying alcohol or whatever, I will take it. And if she was being stubborn, I will make sure they arrest her. I don't give a shit. Even if it was the great Fela Kuti, I will do my job. That is how it is done here. I can hail you, I can laugh with you, I can salute you, I can honor you, but I'm not going to take a selfie with you, and I'm not going to allow you to take what you're not supposed to take. I will do my job, no matter who you are. I've checked in people like Rafael Nadal, like, you do your job. They are human beings, and when you are in that position, because you're dealing with the lives of people, these are areas where terrorists wants to go through, drug traffickers, human traffickers. So like you actually at the border of countries. So it's not just about the people on the aircraft, the people in the airport. We're talking about the lives of a nation. So you take your job seriously if you actually went through training. That's how serious it is. Now, so those people that allowed him to take the liquid in were wrong. But what if he didn't have the liquid and he bought it at duty free? All right, that's another story. If he bought that liquid at duty free, he has the right to take it on the plane. Okay, no one can stop him from taking it onto the plane. But it's another thing when you are drinking it. Okay, the airline I worked for, okay, they can allow you can buy whatever you want at duty free. But when I'm at the boarding gate, the airline says that you cannot take in any food or drink on the aircraft. So if I'm at the boarding gate, this happens a lot because people are the duty free and they buy Burger King or all these fast foods and they are eating. When you get to me and you want to board, I wouldn't board you. I'll give you two options. Sir, do you want to sit down? You still have about 5 minutes to finish your food and then I'll board you, or you bin it and I'll board you. You take one of those. If you don't want to you don't want to bin it because you bought it with an expensive, I can give you like 2-3 minutes to quickly rush it and finish it. And then you can go in. Okay, listen. People hide it, okay, because we don't check your bags at the boarding gate. So a lot of people, they will put it in their bags. As long as you are not eating it and you are not bringing it out, no problem. But if you get on the plane and you bring it out, they will seize it from you. Now, possibly that was what happened with Kwam1. Maybe he hid the drink after he bought it from duty free, and then he took it out. Now, this is where he needed to be more intelligent. Maybe he took it out and started drinking while they were boarding, while they were going on the plane, or when he got on the plane, because from one of the news I heard, he was actually deboarded. So it means he was already on the plane and then he started drinking. Maybe that was where the problem started and they had to deboard him. Now, sir, if the airline told you that it's not permitted to drink alcohol or whatever drink you have brought, you don't have a right to do that. And they did what is correct. To deboard you, that's what they are supposed to do. Okay? Now, so if you bought it at duty free and the airline says you cannot take this on the plane, you cannot drink it on the plane, you don't have a right to bring it out. And you should be deboarded if you do so, or you don't submit it, because they can take it away from you. They'll give you that option. We take it away from you, sir, or you keep it. Maybe he was being stubborn. No, I can drink whatever I like. And then they deboarded him. All right. So to that point is what I can say. Now, let's now go ahead to the second part of the episode where he was deboarded and then he wasn't leaving, the taxing area. Okay. Now, again, the security agents. Well, those were not security agents. They were dispatchers, right? So dispatchers were there. And because the plane already closed, so which means he wasn't going on that flight. Because once the door of the plane closes, sir, I don't care who you are, it's not going to open again. The pilot, that means like we are done. It has never happened before that they close the door of the plane and they open it again, except they have to onboard people. That's the only way. That's the only thing. So all those ones that I was calling people, if you like, call the president, they will not open that plane again. They will not. It's not possible. Under the law, you cannot do that. Okay. Now, they got you down, and then there were so many people on that runway. Now, this is what I'm saying again about ignorance and, illiteracy. Now, these people, these dispatchers should know that before a plane will taxi, you have to clear the zone. I have never seen it in my life, except in this Nigeria, that the plane will actually be moving while people are around it. Like, for real. Like, I was like, is this a joke, or like they are doing a skit? Now, first to the pilot. Madam, you were like absolutely wrong. I don't know where you got trained or who trained you, but your license should be questioned. Honestly speaking, you are not a pilot. You and your co-pilot, your license should be questioned or revoked, because you will kill people one day if you continue like this. You are not trained. How on earth? I mean, who were you listening to? Now, this is how it works, okay? Now, when the plane is ready to move, the pilot is actually in contact with the dispatcher. So before the door closes, the dispatcher is the one that tells the crew, the head of the crew, to close the door. Okay, they checked everything, all boarded, and then they count everybody in. It correlates with everybody that's boarded. They count the luggage corresponds. That's part of AAA. And then the door closes. Once the door closes, that's it. The next thing is for the dispatcher to clear, that's the head of dispatcher, to clear the area. Now, when the area is cleared of all objects, humans, and vehicles, because I saw all those on that place. Now, when all that has been cleared, then the dispatcher communicates with the tarmac, the guy in the control room, because the guy in the control room is the one that gives the green light. Now, plane don't just move at, we say we're leaving by 2 and they just move by 2. No. The control must tell you the road is clear, the weather is good, and they give you time to move. If you miss that time, you must wait until they get you another allocation. Now, so if the tarmac now orders the dispatcher and the pilot that we are giving you a green light, listen to me and listen very carefully. The pilot will not move until the dispatcher says you are free to go. A lot of people don't know this. The pilot is not the one that has the final say. It's actually the dispatcher. So it's the dispatcher that will tell the pilot, yeah, everything is clear, you can move. That is when the pilot can move. So the dispatcher still had Kwam there doing all the nonsense he was doing. He couldn't arrest him. He couldn't clear the area. And then whether he is the one that told the pilot to move, or the pilot was the one that overruled the instructions of the dispatcher, I don't know. I don't know their communication. But at that point, that dispatcher should be sacked. Absolutely, because he has put the life of everyone in danger. Listen, when accidents happen on planes, I mean, I've seen it. Like last month here in Majorca, there was an accident, a fire incident on a plane. The plane had not even moved. Thank God for that. But the plane, I mean, the engine caught fire. We don't know how, because there was so much heat and it caught fire. And of course, they had to onboard people. Come and see. The plane was not like real much of a fire, just smoke, and they saw fire coming. And they started onboarding people. In that little time, there was a stampede. Thank God nobody died, but people had to be taken to the hospital. That's how terrible it can be. So you can imagine a plane that already started moving. If there was an accident, if anything happened, if anything went wrong there, people were going to die. So the dispatcher was wrong. Absolutely should not be working as we are talking. Should be sacked. That person should be doing maybe conductor or something, or should go for retraining. Like, because I don't know who trained these people. Absolutely, like all animalistic behaviors, man. Everywhere, everything was wrong. Now, so whether they gave the instruction at the tarmac, whether they gave them the green light, after giving the green light, before giving the green light, they were supposed to clear that area. The only person that is supposed to be left is the dispatcher, and should be at a particular distance from the plane, where the pilot will be able to see him and will be able to direct the pilot and say yes and give him the green light to move. That is the only time the pilot should move. Now, there are situations where pilots overrule, okay, the instructions of dispatchers. I've seen that before, and that pilot was punished. And if anything had happened to that flight, whether at takeoff or even in the sky, that pilot is gone. Like, it's life imprisonment. You can't even, there's no joking about that. You will be imprisoned for life because it's manslaughter. Okay, so that is my whole conclusion. Everyone was wrong, and Kwamwanda was trying to stop the plane. Mighty ego, okay. Hey, you are lucky. You are lucky that you did that in Nigeria, but it's unfortunate because Nigeria is a lawless country. If you try that, you will not try that. You didn't try that when you came to Spain. Now you wouldn't. You know, when you people come here, you always do oga, like, you know, we see each other. Nobody will give you that kind of respect. As a matter of fact, why did they not arrest him? Because what he did was an act of terrorism. You hijacked the plane. That's it. You were hijacking a plane. Okay, so you were a terrorist. That's the truth. Simple and basic. That's the meaning. You are an hijacker, and that's normally should carry very, very, very heavy punishment. That's the truth. But it's not your fault. Everybody is ignorant. Like I said, everybody is ignorant. Some didn't do their job well. Most were ignorant, and many more didn't even know what they were doing. And that is my take. So please, when you are flying, the instructions of the crew, not even the pilot even talking to you, you are done. The crew members alone, when they give you instructions and you don't obey it, they have a right to take you off the plane. As a matter of fact, to ban you from flying with them forever. So the airline can ban you. They can give you life ban. I've seen that before. A guy that was drunk and was fighting on the plane, they gave him a life ban. We have the list. So once you come to me and we put your details on, we just see the life ban. We just say, oh, sorry, sir, you won't be able to fly with us today. We just send you to the office. You are gone. And if you make any noise, they will arrest you. So that is the situation. Nigerians, we need to do better. But education is extremely important. How many of us actually travel in Nigeria anyway? Not too many people fly in Nigeria. It's not affordable for common Nigerians. It's not like here that everybody flies out. All my children now, they fly, they want to go on excursion, they are jumping on planes and all. This is not supposed to be luxury. It's supposed to be a transport system that people should know about. The same way you should know how to join a bus or take a taxi, and how to coordinate yourself when you are out to queue for a bus and all that. That's how it's supposed to be flying on a plane. It's not supposed to be a big deal. It's not supposed to be something you'll be proud about. For heaven's sake, it's like riding a bicycle, just a little bit more expensive, and somebody riding it on your behalf. So that's my take. Unfortunately, Nigeria is what it is. By the time they make one or two calls, they won't do the right thing. But we need to start doing the right thing. So, but for me, I'm not really focusing on who is wrong, who is right. The focus right now is what should have been the right thing to do, and of course to enlighten us a little bit about how airport and flying works. And I hope that next time that you want to fly, you understand better, and then you listen to instructions. It doesn't matter who is instructing you, as long as those people have authority in that field. Respect them, be humble, listen to them, and that is how they will also be able to respect you, and you be a good leader onto them. Thank you very much. I know the video is a bit long, but it was necessary for me to do. And please subscribe to our channel. Don't forget, like the videos, share the videos, and let's learn together. I'll see you in the next episode. This one was just like to relax a bit and learn one or two things about flying. Akinshola said it. I see.